Where do we go after this hitchhiking journey and acting with Alec Guinness? What's next in your life?
Well, then it was Designed for Living with Vanessa Redgrave, the great Noel Coward play about Troilism. And it was there, unbeknownst to me, that my beloved saw me. I didn't see her, she only saw me on stage. And I asked her once, her name is Joan, by the way, Joni. And
She came just as a regular audience member?
she came to see me in the play. The play. And she said, it wasn't what you said, darling, it was the way you moved your groin. And I blushed.
Yes?
Anyway, in 1975, I'd just filmed The Rivals and was in the middle of filming School for Scandal, the Sheridan the Congreve.
Yes.
And then we met. And I guess he kind of organized it because I wasn't the only star in The Rivals. There were several others. But I was the one that was picked. And we met on camera. And she wanted 4 minutes, and we talked for 2.5 hours on camera. And when we got married in 1978, our best man gave us the bits that were cut out as a wedding present. Luckily, we saw them in the dark because we both went bright pink.
That's wonderful.
We had the same birthday.
Oh, what day is that?
November 3.
Oh,
and
happy birthday.
Nearly. And well, I'm going to be spending it with my mother-in-law, so it'll be very pleasing. And we had this amazing love.
What was her profession? If you could
She created mystery theater.
Good heavens!
She's a milkmaid from Wisconsin with Cherokee blood, which gave her all this added perception and great beauty, of course.
Yes.
And she worked for WGBH. She created mystery, sustained masterpiece theater for 18 years. I created classic theater, Piccadilly Circus, built a delicate bridge between America and England, and no one else could possibly have done what she achieved.
Delicate and shining, we should note.
I agree. I mean, I can show off about her because I'm so proud of her. And she came, we lived in a lovely house, and she phoned everybody and met everybody and got to know John Mortimer, John Hawkesworth. Eventually they would hardly move without ringing her to get her advice. Jeremy Isaacs, all the heads of every television station, they all worshipped her. And I used to say, can we go out to dinner now? She said, no, I've got to deliver 2 letters. There'll be 2 very important people in town, and she had to deliver their speeches to them, which she wrote. And she was dyslexic, so they really got their money's worth. Anyway, we had late dinners. And eventually we got married.
You lived here or there?
Both.
Okay.
And then I had this terrible crisis. I got Sherlock. And
was she behind this at all, or did John talk
well,
to her?
I don't think she hindered, but I think that it meant that I was locked up in a hotel in the north of England. And we didn't know time was short then. We didn't know that 85, July 4, would be the end of her life. But we had a garden to build. And we were planning this garden. We were too late for children. We were planning this glorious garden. I mean, a huge garden.
Where would it be now?
We hadn't decided. We were looking for the right climate.
I see. Okay.
I wanted Los Angeles because I wanted sprinklers and an instant garden. She wanted an older garden. We were talking about, of course, Wisconsin. We were talking about Warwickshire. I mean, it was going to be a big garden, for sure.
Right.
A lot of gardens.
Right.
And then she was snatched from me.
What happened?
Well, it was cancer. And it was very quick, mercifully, but, you know, it was a terrible shock. And I remember the last time we danced together was in the Rainbow Room on the top of the Rockefeller Center. It was pink, cherry blossom time. And I was in a pink cherry blossom success on Broadway called Aren't We All? And she was wearing silver and looking absolutely supreme. Delicate, fragile. And but we danced for the last time there. And I lost her. But I have 2 beautiful children as a legacy from her. Caleb and Rebecca. And my son by my first marriage, so no tears, it's all right. But her like will not come again. Believe you me.
Then I assume as we hear the In Paradisum from the Fauré Requiem...
Well, I tell you what I'll do, because I remember when I did Man of Action in London, I think in 1977, earlier, I think, I dedicated this to the death of my mother, who was killed in a car accident. So I'll dedicate it to both of them.
Angels receive the In Paradise, the conclusion to Gabriel Fauré's Requiem with the choir of King's College, Cambridge, and the Philharmonic Orchestra directed by David Wilcox. Choice number 4 by Desert Island Castaway, Jeremy Brett. Jeremy, we're just looking at some pictures of your beautiful children. You have a chance to see your daughter and son-in-law coming up, I understand.
Yes, I'm off to Boston, and I can meet James, and Diana, and Christine, my little grandchildren.
Oh.
And my darling Esther, who still rides a bicycle indoors.
Yes.
She's 90, my mother-in-law, so that's going to be very pleasing, very happy-making.
Oh,
that's next weekend. Then I go to Cleveland and Chicago. It's been an amazing trip. I'm here, of course, as you know, for public television.
Is it? Let me ask you this.
To promote public television.
I ask this so often of Gene Marsh has been Castaway and so many others, but John Hawksworth was rather witty about this sort of rampant Anglophilia. Are you surprised by the American adoration and reverence for the English way, or is it perfectly proper and as it darn well should be?
No, I think another bloody Brit's a bore.
Don't think so.
No, I'm just trying to answer you. I was in Atlanta the other day, and I was desperately trying to find a Georgian to ask about Georgia. And every cab I said, "What part of Georgia are you from?" He said, "I'm from Ethiopia." And I then had dinner at a lovely restaurant. And I said, "What part of Atlanta are you from?" He said, "I'm Welsh." And I began to get desperate to find someone from Georgia. And I had a lovely hat on. I had a black hat on celebrating the Olympics 1996 with a little tomahawk on one side and the Braves badge on the other. And the most important thing I would like to say is really this. Never ever think that if you lose someone in your life that it's a quick and easy thing to recover. You really must give yourself more time than you can possibly imagine. Don't be surprised if after about 2 or 3 years you're still suddenly finding yourself with tears, and even men cry, you know, pouring down their cheeks in the most extraordinary place, like an elevator or driving the car. Remember, it takes longer than you think. Having said that, I would like to say that I think that possibly we're living in the most exciting time. With the wall down in Germany, the puffball of communism burst. I believe there is going to be peace in our time and our children's time. And I think that President Bush has done it. I think the Gulf War is the peace war to end all world war. God bless America, if this is true. Thank you from all of us elsewhere. Now for my last song, there is a lady who I love very deeply. Her name is Jessie Norman. I have heard her so many times and seen her so many times, and the sound of her voice rings through my heart as no other singer since the early days of Leontine Price. I've asked particularly for Richard Strauss's 4 last songs. God bless you and thank you. Bye-bye.